Welcome to the 21st Century Suffragettes cast. They flipped the bitch switch. We've already won this fight. We've already won this battle. We are not going back, not on our watch. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Thank you, family.
Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
What's that, Tony?
Was that live or was that Memorex?
What's the matter? Okay, I guess we're live. I don't know.
Yeah,
I can't
mean,
hear it
live,
with my sound canceling headphones on. And he mumbles anyway, so I have no idea what he's saying.
This is a live stream. We might be live.
Yes, we're live. This is not Memorex.
Okay, good.
Let's sit back in our chairs, remember? And then, like, the wind blows, and you're like, ah. The guy sitting there in the chair. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, that's old school advertising for you. Welcome to the 21st Century Suffragettes. I'm Diane Russell. We got Benny Loco in the house, and we also got Spike in our. And I'm not sure if Wizzy's going to join us or not. She has been super busy, and I get it, and we all get it. And so, you know, if she can jump in, she's going to jump in. She has her daughter visiting. So I said, if your daughter is visiting and your grandson's going to be there, just don't even bother showing up, honey.
Yeah,
just have fun.
Do that family time, damn it.
Family first. That's right.
That's right.
That's right. So, plus, you know, everything that we're going to talk about is nothing for a toddler to hear. So,
yeah, no. No, not at all.
An age limit on our show and so forth. And okay. So there's so much shit to talk about. And I'm like, oh my God, I say this every show. There's so much shit to talk about, even though we were just on 2 fucking days ago. I'm just like,
see that rug over there with the big lump in it? That's all stuff to talk about.
Right.
It just keeps getting ever bigger and bigger and bigger. Soon the rug will be, you know, obsolete and not doing its job because the pile will have subsided the size of the rug, crested the size of the rug. All right.
And I just
yeah, I'm sorry. I just took my first dab of the day, so I may be a little lippy right now.
So
it's
working, people. It's working. We keep making fun of fucking Elon, and he keeps stepping on his own fucking rakes. Let's make him keep doing this. I love it. He goes on fucking Sean Hannity. He's whining like a little fucking whiny little bitch. And he's like, and then, and I'm like, oh, really? You want to, and he, what's the matter?
I can hear you just fine.
Fine for me. Audio, question marks. Okay, it's on now. So this little whiny little bitch goes on, and he's on Sean Hannity, whining, crying, and everybody's in the radical left, in the violent left. First of all, there's no proof that this comes from a left organization or a person who voted for. There's no proof of any of this. Number one. Number two. Yeah, why couldn't it be the dealerships knowing how to set a fucking Tesla on fire because it's really easy, and they blow up on their own, which is another thing to do.
Collect
Why
that
do we not
insurance
know
money.
these? Yeah, Teslas, they're not doing it to collect the insurance money because you can't sell these motherfuckers. You can't sell a
No.
used one for $50. Nobody
But
wants
you can
that.
collect the insurance on it
That's right.
at full value.
And let's also, just come to the realization they explode on their own. So we already know this. Tesla stock is totally in a fucking free for all, like fucking down. Good. Keep it going. Oh, there it is. Now it's popped in. Now I can hear myself. Do I sound better? I don't know. It sounds like I feel like I can hear myself. So, okay. Anyway,
much better.
You've got first of all, I don't want anybody to think that the left are the people who are doing these things to Elon's cars. We don't know. We have no clue who's doing this to Elon's car. All right? There's been no prosecutions. There's been no arrests. There's been nothing. So until I get that information, to me, it's right-wing radical nuts trying to blame it on Democrats so they have a fucking talking point. So we've got, I wrote a checklist, just not even a checklist, just a bullet point thing, right? I guess I have to get my glasses out for this because I wrote really fucking small.
I wanted it all to fit.
I did. Well, I wrote it on this piece of paper, not like a normal piece of paper.
I knew it.
Because I was just brainstorming, right? So, deporting citizens. Judges are blocking Dinky. He's got 132 lawsuits against him. He's grooming people of color, women, LGBTQ, and plus from the military and Arlington cemeteries, websites and stuff. They're trying to whitewash history, including Jackie Robinson, which now it's, people are getting up in arms. They tried twice to do this to Jackie Robinson. They're just like, okay, going after the U.S. Institute of Peace, which is a nonprofit and private organization. Trump enlisted the Office of Attorney General of the District of Columbia, the FBI, and the D.C. Police to go after the United States Institute of Peace. Like, if you're not reading into all the ironic shit that's going on, I'm just like, okay, you're going to attack the Institute of Peace. They're defying court orders, which puts us in a constitutional crisis. So Dinky went after $20 billion that Biden and the EPA and the Congress approved for climate grants. And Dinky has canceled them through Citibank. When a court order, a judge said, no, you can't do it. And then Dinky's people went after Citibank anyway and canceled this fucking bank account. Now, this is a private, if they can do this to private organizations, they can do it to you.
Yeah,
you don't have to be a federal.
Organizations are people, right?
Yeah. You don't have to be a federal employee to have this go after you. He signed the elimination of the Department of Education, an executive order. They're blaming the trans people from, they're banning trans people from serving in the military, saying that it costs too much money for their health care when they spend triple the amount on Viagra a yearly. So, like, fuck you. And they're also going after women and minorities, which I kind of already, mentioned. And also, in my opinion, I think we should ban maggots. If you're a maggot and you're a bigot, you shouldn't be in the military. Fuck you. You're out of here.
Yeah.
Bye, bitch. Firing people he can't fire, which creates more lawsuits, which, Now there's 132, 33 lawsuits. There are more lawsuits were dropped today, ladies and gentlemen. And how far did we get in the lawsuits before? Right? So he wants to reshape the Pentagon and having civilians run NATO, which has never been done before. It's always been a high-ranking general or high-ranking officers. And he wants to pull out of NATO, and he's pulling out troops out of Japan. And again, I'm going to reiterate my waste, fraud, and abuse thing is Dinky himself. Dinky is waste, fraud, and abuse. And I want people to start using that. And by the way, when I see you guys out there in chats all over, and you use the word dinky or you use something that came from the show, I have so much pride. I'm like, oh my God, I love you guys so much. Oh my God, it's so much fun.
Yes.
So
there's people all over calling him dinky.
And these are just bullet points. Now, these are from today. He's attacking Act Blue and other Democratic agencies, accusing them of fraud and funding terrorism. And it's really grassroots organizations that donate to Democrats, using the power of government to go after organizations that support the Democratic Party. If there's nothing more fascist than that, I don't fucking know. Tying people up in lawsuits, and the goal is to bankrupt them into submission, which we watched him do over and over again for the last several decades.
50 years, yeah. He's done this all his life. Yeah. This is his gig. This is his MO. This is what he does.
Yeah, going after law firms that also defended other Democrats, like, I don't know, what's the guy? I'm trying to think of the guy's name that was in the CIA, and they tried to fire him and take all his money away, and he works with Allison Gill now. I'm blanking on his fucking name. I should have written it down when I thought of it. Anyway, I'm calling everything DEI.
Thank you all very much. I love Tesla.
Yeah, calling everything DEI and all the and just because it has just because he says it's DEI doesn't mean it's DEI. When you've got military people who have served and died for our country, and you're gonna call them DEI, you son of a bitch. I'm really sick to death with all this fucking shit that's going on. Don't know how to stop it. Don't know what we can do about it except sit here and bitch about it. So, ladies, I don't know. Have at it. Benny, what's on the top of your fucking bitch list? Because that was the top of mine. Son of a bitch.
How do I begin?
What's the matter now?
Diane. Tony's touching your stuff again, Diane.
I know. He's manhandling my shit.
Get your hands off her junk, Tony. Yeah.
No, he's just trying to make it sound better. So whatever.
Yeah, no, I got it.
So go ahead, Ben.
Yeah.
That's it.
This is not going to end well. Okay.
No.
However, we shall be victorious. But it's not going to end well. Mm-mm. There's just the blatant fuckery. I mean, there's a lot of Republicans right now who are chafing at the bit, pissed fucking right the fuck off, right off, because they voted for this. I take solace in that. Okay, I really do. I love seeing them melt because of their ill-fated fucking choice, even having the knowledge that they had. Okay?
Right.
So I take comfort in knowing our side has gotten much larger because of this. Okay, there's there were a lot more of us before, and there's a lot more of us now. And that's what it's going to take. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be fun. It's not going to be awesome. It's going to be, the fight for our freedom and our country and our democracy and all that's right. And I'm up for it. I'm
Just
so
saying.
fucking geared up after the last 10 years of watching this fuckery. I'm so ready. I'm ready. I'm ready to go sit down somewhere and let them drag me off in handcuffs. I'm fucking ready.
Here's my metal baton thing. I'm ready.
When I think the other aspect of that, and I don't think that enough credit was given in 2020 for the turnout, because they played it off as, oh well, everybody got to mail in their ballot, so of course everyone voted. But really, I think it was people standing up and saying we don't want that madness anymore, and we're going to see that exponentially, not only in 2026 but in 2028. We're going to see all those voters that don't vote because they don't do politics suddenly involved and saying, well, maybe I needed to be in politics. We're going to see all those protest voters who have realized all they did was give him the power to do the thing they didn't want him to do. And we're going to see them coming out. So it's not just those that are regretting their vote for him. It's those who didn't vote and those who protest voted. I think we'll see a lot of that, especially in 2026, as well as the special elections that are coming up.
Well, we got to remind people of these special elections. There's one coming up, the Supreme Court in Wisconsin. A very big deal. Elon Musk is
huge.
He's fucking fun putting all this money into this. I forget the chick's name off the top of my head, but I want to say it's something Crawford. Not Joan.
Thank God.
No, it's a chick's name, and I just remember, I tried to remember the last name by Crawford. So if you're in Wisconsin, don't forget. If you're actually all around the country, there are special elections going on. In fact, I heard there was 1,500 in between now and in the midterms. 1,500 special elections across the country from now until midterms.
So make sure you're paying attention wherever you are and check and see if there's voting going on in your district, for your district, by your district.
That's right.
Make sure your district knows what's going on. Talk to people. I do it every day. I pulled a guy over today. A little old man, he was probably 75 years old. I say little old man like he's so much older than me, but he's not. He's the same age as my late husband, who died of Agent Orange from Vietnam. And I pulled him over. I flashed my lights at him, and I had a perfect reason to pull him over because his gas flap was open. That was my in. Okay.
Right.
So I said to him, I wanted to make sure that I got out of my car and I brought the case with me. And I said, I wanted to make sure you had your gas cap on because your flap was open. But when he got out of the car, he had a Vietnam hat on. But he had Trump all over.
Oh, God.
Truck, everywhere, surrounded it. And he said, well, that's mighty kind of you. I said, yeah, you know what? You know, it would be really kind if you would read this report. And he looked at the page, read it a little bit, flipped it over, started reading some more, and I could see his eyes welling up with tears. And I said, let me tell you something. The guy you voted for wants to take your VA benefits away. He wants to take your Social Security away. He wants to take your Medicaid away. My husband didn't live to see this. And I told him that he passed from Agent Orange. I said, but you have. And I want you to know, in this court report is from 2016, and it was buried. Never came out. This is a girl from the next town over from us that this happened to. So this is one of our own that this happened to.
Mm-hmm.
So with the information that I gave you, and by this time he's just squalling. He was just squalling. And I took him and I brought him in and I gave him a big fat fucking Benny Loco hug. And I said, look, I'm only here to do what's best for you. I said, I have a duty to warn.
Yeah.
And that's what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in this for all of us.
And it was a civil.
For my husband who can't be here with me, to be in it with me.
It was a civil conversation. He didn't yell at you. He didn't scream. He didn't nothing.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, hope against hope, that man actually took to heart what I explained to him. He actually stood there and said a prayer.
Did he give a copy? Did you give him a copy so he could read
Yes,
it?
okay, I did.
Good.
And I asked him to please share it with other veterans.
Yeah.
Please share the information that I've given you, because this is what's happening. This is not what they're telling you, but this is what's happening.
Right.
And
what, Tony?
Sent him on his little old man merry way. But that's what you do. You talk to people. You've got to talk to people. Complete strangers. You're only strangers because you haven't met.
It's true. It's totally true.
Take that step. Talk to people. It's an absolute. I've been preaching this forever.
Yeah.
You got to talk to people. You got to talk to people. It's way past time for uncomfortable conversations.
Yeah. And I'll tell you what, speaking of getting the message out and talking to people, I'll tell you what, I'm pretty proud of ourselves. I am. I'm really fucking proud. We're not political pundits. We don't have education in political science. You know what I mean? We have not been, we don't know the ins and outs of DC, and we're not in the Beltway and blah, blah, blah. But guess what? We all called it. We all saw it. Angry Ginger did a video with this guy. He put in this guy's, his name on YouTube is called Wisecrack. Okay. And, it's a 16-minute long video, and I know Tony's gonna huff and puff and blow the fucking house down. But this is what we have been talking about since day one of our podcast, and even the podcast before it. This has been a long-term plan, and this guy pulls out the 1971
motherfucker piece of shit.
1971 playbook of how the Republicans have been going after this for fucking 5 decades. I think it's so important that I want to play the whole thing, and we can do it in 5-minute segments. So we can play 5 minutes, talk about it, play another 5 minutes, talk about it. So it's not, because it's 16 minutes, 17 seconds. It's so important to me to show you guys that we're not full of shit. We may not know who the guy's name was, or what the document was, or none of that really actually matters. But this is proof that what we were saying is, this is proof that what we were saying is actually fucking true, and that we're not crazy, and that, this is actually a plan that has been implemented for 5 fucking decades against the American people by the Republican Party. And lo and behold, look who gets into the Supreme Court, the guy who wrote the fucking thing to begin with. And people wonder, how the fuck did we get here? Well, guess what? We've been saying this for a long, long time. This is how we got here. We just didn't have the little weirdo paperwork or the history or the knowledge. We just knew, we saw what was happening.
Yeah, observation.
And so this guy, I don't know his name, but he's on YouTube as Wisecrack. So let's listen to the first 5 minutes and we'll discuss after the first 5 minutes.
So I'm reading a memo that's over 50 years old and is currently dismantling our democracy. You can draw a straight line from it to our emerging tech oligarchy.
Oh, I don't think we're witnessing the start of an oligarchy. I think we are fully here.
And here's the scary thing. Even if we manage to stop Doge or the terrorizing of migrants, this memo and its half-century of influence, well, it isn't going anywhere. And if anyone is going to have any hope of saving our democracy, politicians and activists need to combat its legacy.
Welcome to the new American oligarchy.
So it's 1971 and corporate lawyer Lewis Powell is cracking open my favorite toilet read, Fortune magazine, when he sees his worst enemy staring back at him.
You know his name, it's Ralph Nader. He's father of this country's consumer movement. In almost 30 years of advocacy, he has created a national consciousness about product safety in almost all areas of our lives, from the cars we drive to where we work.
As a board member of Philip Morris, Powell's mission was convincing the public that cigarettes weren't really that bad for you. The celebrity of this car safety crusader was horrifying to Powell, so he called up his neighbor to complain about Nader's threat to the great American tradition of corporate crime. And maybe just to shut him up, that neighbor, who happened to run the Chamber of Commerce, commissioned Powell to write a confidential memorandum for its members. It would become a 6,400-word screed about the plight of the forgotten man. The forgotten man here is corporate America, which in Powell's view had as little influence in government of any group in the country. Titled Attack on American Free Enterprise System, his memo began, "No thoughtful person can question that the American economic system is under broad attack." Those attacks were coming from leftist radicals who he once compared to Adolf Hitler. Maybe now he'd compare them to Kanye West. Powell reflected that America's devoted businessmen hadn't been prepared for the left's guerrilla warfare, as they'd been too busy doing their jobs and generally being good citizens. He writes, "The time has come for the wisdom, ingenuity, and resources of American businesses to be marshaled against those who would destroy it." In short, he wanted a government run for business, by business. What we in the industry like to call an oligarchy. Powell boldly called for corporate America to seize power and use it aggressively, without embarrassment and without the reluctance which has been so characteristic of American business. And the American business world was ready to listen. Powell's memo circulated widely, essentially going pre-internet viral, according to the investigative journalist behind the podcast The Master Plan. Powell gained immediate disciples. Joseph Coors of Really Cold Beer fame read the memo and launched the massively influential Heritage Foundation, whose pro-business policy recommendations would culminate with Project 2025.
With its stated goal being, quote, to assemble an army of aligned, vetted, trained, and prepared conservative.
Coors Heritage Foundation. Okay, this is where it all kind of starts. And people think that we're fucking crazy for going, oh, this has been a 50-year thing against us. I don't even know how many minutes we are. We're only like 3 minutes in. But you see what I mean? Making the connection back to the Heritage Foundation fucking 50 years ago. Okay, go ahead and play it. Sorry.
To go to work on day one to deconstruct the administrative state.
Everyone from the Koch brothers to billionaire activist Richard Mellon Scaife took his words to heart. The Chamber of Commerce quickly organized 2 Powell Memo task force conventions in 1973, the Levitt reports. One at the Polynesian Resort in Disney, one in Texas, and participants ranged from soon-to-be President Gerald Ford to the young, ambitious Roger Ailes. Now, Powell's main concern was reestablishing corporate interest in 4 arenas: politics and public opinion, the media, and college campuses. I want to talk about each of them and how they've created our modern nightmare, but let's start with college campuses. Now, in Powell's telling, the most dangerous enemy of the business elite, besides Nader, was personally attractive and magnetic leftist thinkers on college campuses who were leading millions of bright young men to hate their country and its freedoms. I feel really seen right now. You know, I don't know if I was a personally attractive professor. Actually, on Rate My Professor, they'd have the chili pepper, and I often got the chili pepper, so thanks, students. But as one might expect from a partner at a law firm that wouldn't hire black people, a certain kind of revolutionary especially got Powell's goat. He specifies that in most of these groups, the movement against the system is participated in only by minorities. Yet, these often are the most articulate, the most vocal, the most prolific in their writing and speaking. I'm not going to say he's like less than a racist, but at least he's a complimentary racist, I guess. As part of its quest to regain power, Powell argued that corporate America should propagate pro-business sentiments in academia by, among other things, sending equally attractive, articulate, and well-informed speakers. Groups like the National Association of Scholars began to crop up, boldly promoting Western intellectual heritage, combating multicultural or feminist curricula, and funding the careers of aspiring conservative scholars. Financial speculators funded economics professors to downplay market risks before the 2008 financial collapse. By 2011, the Charles G. Koch Foundation went mask off and took over hiring at Florida State University via its $1.5 million grant. Today, the tech oligarchy has its hands all over academia. They pay for the research of the very people in a position to criticize them, says scholar Hani Farid. It's what the oil and gas industry has done with climate change, and it's what the tobacco companies did with cigarette research. Powell's memo also warned that school textbooks should be put under instant surveillance because they were being covertly rewritten by civil rights and union activists, rather than showing both sides of highly debatable topics like segregation. At the same time, Powell's call for corporate America to create its own culture of scholarship and activism was met practically overnight with a flood of right-wing think tanks like the Cato Institute and the Federalist Society. While designing their PR makeover, the corporate class heeded Powell's warning that no one business could campaign too prominently, lest it become a target of the left's wrath. Rather, they collectively pooled their resources behind faceless, pleasantly titled organizations like the Chamber of Commerce or the Free Enterprise Institute, which is exactly what they did to fend off Powell's nemesis, Ralph Nader. Fun fact, the first time I voted in a presidential election, I voted for Ralph Nader. Hit me in the comments and say, you ruined it. You voted for a third-party candidate, and that's why Bush was president. I was voting in California. It didn't matter, and I did it to impress a girl. Mere months after the memo gained popularity, lobbying group Business Roundtable formed, quickly enlisting 113 Fortune 200 CEOs. They bankrolled what one congressman called the most intense lobbying I have ever seen to defeat Ralph Nader's 1977 plan to start a non-regulatory consumer protection agency to advocate for things like fair prices and better safety measures. In case you're not tuned into the news, Elon Musk and Doge is currently gutting the Consumer Protections Bureau. That's cool. And we saw this the day.
You see where I'm going with this thing?
Yeah.
It's all been a fucking major goddamn plan for decades. They've had it going through the Heritage Foundation, the Federalist Society, with all these pleasant names. Like, he's going to bring up in a few minutes, Citizens United. When you listen to Citizens United, you think it sounds like a good thing. But actually, it's really not. They just say it that way so that people will vote for it because it sounds good, when in actuality, what it does is open up the floodgates for anybody to fucking pour in dark money to any fucking campaign they fucking want to. So, look, I don't know. You guys want us to continue? Say yes, continue. Say no, we got it. We'll look it up ourselves. We've gone through how many minutes? 6 minutes, right? So, we got 10 more minutes to go of this. You tell me what you guys want. You want to hear the rest of it here, or you want to go research it for yourself? I feel like when I saw this for the first time, you guys, I was like, holy shit. He's actually confirming what we've been talking about for
all along. Yeah.
I see a lot of yes, 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 thumbs up, thumbs up. All right, then let's keep going.
Before we were filming this video, when Musk had a really bizarre press conference in the Oval Office. There's an article about it here titled, Musk's cheeky son steals show as he picks nose and squirms in Oval Office with Don. And now if you just read that headline, you might just skip over it, right? Because if the most headline-inspiring thing that happened was Elon's kid picking boogers, well, there's probably not anything, newsworthy going on. But if you look at a headline from a different source covering the same story, you can read something like, Musk's shadow presidency unmasked an Oval Office stunt, which would make you feel very
the
different and
commercial,
focus
Tony?
on
Go
how
forward.
weird things are getting. So how is it possible that the
Yeah, it's
same
for,
story can be covered
It's a commercial. Scroll forward.
completely differently depending on which news source you're looking at? Well, many media cross the globe
see
into
it?
one place,
There you go.
as
Keep
mentioned
going.
earlier. My favorite feature on
Keep
Ground
going,
News is their
keep going.
Don't Think Like Me are look. I think Ground News is doing really important magazines
going.
to scholarly journals. But back to corporate America to CNBC when free enterprise television just as doggedly
you're
as they
good
did
now.
textbooks, encouraged special interest groups to complain to the FCC when free enterprise was treated unfairly. He urged corporate America to similarly propagate its ideas across written media from popular magazines to scholarly journals. But back to Powell, who actually had one fourth pillar of his plan so chilling that we had to save it for last. He predicted that with an activist-minded Supreme Court, the
There you
judiciary may be the most important instrument for social, economic, and political change. Corporations like Philip Morris started funding an explosion of legal foundations to sue the government for overreach against corporations' rights, including the National Chamber Litigation Center, which today has a 70% win rate in the Roberts Supreme Court. But as if to really prove his point, 3 months later, Powell eked out Nixon's nomination to the Supreme Court, where he would become the activist judge he had described in his memo. One with a fanatical belief in the interest of corporate America. Listen, I don't like him, but it's cool to have a dream and then achieve that dream. That's cool. Powell's ascension to the Supreme Court set the stage for today's oligarchy by giving a voice to that forgotten man, the lowly corporation. Little corporation, you need help getting up the stairs? By 1978, he was penning a decision in the First National Bank of Boston v. Bellotti case that took the monumental step of declaring corporations' right to free speech. And by free speech, I mean the right to just spend a ton of money on ballot initiatives across the country. The legalese is complicated and boring, but the point is that Powell set a huge precedent in this corporate right to free speech, which laid the groundwork for Citizens United to flood corporate money into politics in 2010, facilitating the rise of corporate influence over political policy. 8 years after Powell galvanized his conservative tribe, the country elected the most business-friendly president it had seen in decades. My guy, Ronald Reagan. Now, the Powell-inspired Heritage Foundation sent Reagan a list of 2,000 policy recommendations, 2/3 of which it claims Reagan attempted or achieved. Today, many scholars draw a straight line from Powell's memo to the rise of corporate power in America that has consolidated wealth into the hands of the extraordinarily rich. If you're extraordinarily rich, give us money. Powell would be pleasantly surprised that the once supposedly politically reluctant businessmen have aggressively entered politics, creating a revolving door between corporate America and Washington, D.C. that skews everything in the favor of wealthy business elites. Like how George Bush's chief of counsel on environmental quality was an American Petroleum Institute lobbyist who personally edited climate reports to stoke uncertainty about the science. He later took a gig at ExxonMobil. Good for him. During Obama's time in office, the revolving door between tech and government thrived, with over 250 individuals moving between Google's empire and the federal government alone. Today, nearly 700 government officials, military officers, and members of Congress hold high-ranking positions at the top 20 defense companies, likely contributing to the intense price gouging on military contracts that constitutes half the Pentagon's budget. Since Powell's memo, the new oligarchy's influence over money and ideas has gutted welfare, crushed healthcare reform, and stymied action on climate change. Meanwhile, 741 billionaires, exemplified by the Musks and Zuckerbergs of the world, wield $5 trillion in wealth compared to the roughly $4 trillion owned by the bottom 50% of American households. This wielding of wealth is seen in Elon Musk's contributions to the Trump campaign, which then enabled his shadow presidency. So what made Powell's blueprint so effective in creating a system in which the business interest of an elite group matters way more than the interest of the general population? To answer that, it's worth returning to a few lines of the Powell memo that may have made your ears perk up. Now, recall how Powell calls out the power of civil rights activists and radical minority activists. Now, this wasn't out of character. He once worried he wouldn't be confirmed to the Supreme Court because he'd publicly insulted Martin Luther King Jr. in numerous speeches, even dismissing King's letter from a Birmingham jail as simply a doctrine of anarchy that nobody intellectually honest could espouse. He also chastised black activists because at least they were better off in America than they would be in Uganda, and he warned another justice that full desegregation would make our cities jungles. I hope that hearing that felt a tenth as gross as it felt to say it. Now, as Justice, Powell wrote a majority decision claiming that the United States had become a nation of minorities and white people needed protection as a minority group. I think he might have been a bad guy. Powell's memo helped catalyze the kind of philanthropy that fully metastasized into the 1980s culture wars over things like humanities curriculums and political correctness, wars designed to trigger white animosity with the secondary aim of undermining working class solidarity. Now, this strategy is tried and true. It was used by the earliest oligarchs in America, colonial plantation owners who created a racial caste system to pit white European indentured servants against enslaved Africans. As historian Heather Cox Richardson notes, encouraging poor whites to identify with white landowners meant their lower-class white neighbors got the benefit of believing they were on the same level as rich men because they shared the same racial identity. They would not revolt because preserving the distinction between themselves and slaves was more important than seeking political power. Imagine 100%. That, you know? Imagine if the strong, rich, powerful white guys knew that the less powerful white guys would just do whatever they wanted because of racial animosity, and if they sort of fueled that racial animosity, Rachel, not Rachel, Rachel, we love you, that they could then just take power and do whatever they wanted with it. What if that happened? Gilded Age oligarchs and mass manufacturing created racial caste systems that made labor solidarity impossible, often using immigrants of color as strikebreakers, all while advocating for social Darwinism that treated white people as inherently superior. The political elite exploited sectional, racial, cultural, and religious cleavages to win office. Then they turned government over to the corporations. Or as magnate Jay Gould put it, I can hire one half of the working class to kill the other half. Jay Gould also sounds like a bad guy. Despite America making some racial progress, this cleavage has been re-employed by the powerful conservative academic, media, and political machine to convince poor Americans that any government spending is bad because it amounts to handouts to marginalized groups. From Reagan's welfare queens.
She used 80 names, 30 addresses, 15 telephone numbers to collect food stamps, Social Security, veterans benefits for 4 non-existent deceased veterans' husbands, as well as welfare.
To today's war over DEI.
Are you saying this crash was somehow caused and the result of diversity hiring? And what evidence have you seen to support these claims?
It just could have been. We have a high standard. We've had a much higher standard than anybody else.
Which are parroted by Elon Musk and elevated on his social media platform. Oligarchs continue to foment racial grievances to distract people from their economic pain and encourage their business-friendly beliefs in small governments and even smaller taxes. When Powell envisioned a more politically empowered conservative business movement, he likely didn't picture a volatile near-trillionaire hacking into the Treasury Department. But the success of the agenda he laid out in his memo indisputably was a huge inflection point that helped get us here. Okay, guys, that's all for this one. Thank you so much.
There you go. So, okay, you see where I went with this? That why I felt it was so important to play the whole thing. It takes you step through step through step. And if you think that poor white people who vote for MAGA, if you think that they give a shit about you, look at their voting records. They want to take away your Medicare. They want to take away your Social Security. This is our last show, which I want to rename a message to maggots. I want to rename it because I went after them last couple days ago because I'm like, look at your Social Security, look at your paychecks. And look at how much money that actually went into your Social Security out of your paycheck. And then look at every single stub. And then add that up over the year and see how much Social Security is taking out. That's for you to retire on. That is not an entitlement. You paid into this, maggots. And so I feel like it was so important to be like, it's systemic. It's systemic against all of us, not just Black people and people of color and women and people who feel marginalized. It's actually against all of us.
All us worker bees.
And it reminds me
by design.
Yes, it reminds me of George Carlin. It's a club and you ain't in it, right? Because you don't have
George knew.
George Carlin knew. Oh my God, so much shit.
He fucking knew.
So much shit was popping up in my head, and I would just go, oh, Department of Education.
George said that.
And yeah, they want us dumb, sick, in fighting each other. For the scraps that the oligarchs give us.
Yeah, because then we're not fighting them.
Yeah, because if you give trans people rights, then that means you're taking rights away from me. No, that's actually not what it means. What it means is we're just working to be a better fucking democracy for everyone, right? But an attack on even the white, marginalized, low class, low money people is an attack on them because they want you to think that immigrants and trans people, and there's an army of these people. There is no army.
No.
The army is people who are fighting for democracy. That's our army.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? Like there's more people that give a fuck about democracy in the United States than are trying to burn it down. The people who are trying to burn it down just happen to be in power right now. So let's keep fighting with everything we got because we've been through this shit before, right? We can get through it again. We just can't give up. We can't be demoralized like they want us to be. They want us to be exhausted and have sleepless nights and have migraines for 5 fucking days. That's what they fucking want. That's what they want. I'm still here. I'm not giving up. So go ahead. So
bring it.
Well, you. I hope that both of you guys agree with my decision to play that whole thing because I think it was really important. Benny, what do you got? You agree?
I got nothing because I watched this happen over my lifetime.
Yeah.
And I watched my parents bang their head against the wall watching it happen over my lifetime. Right. Blue collar family.
But to know that it was this Powell.
And my dad, listen, I can't tell you how many television sets my dad laid to waste watching the news. Okay? Laid to fucking waste.
I can only imagine.
So I've watched this whole thing happen over my lifetime, and
yeah, but Benny, to know that there was a Powell memo.
No, I get it. I get that. Yeah. I didn't know about that part.
Yeah,
of course.
I didn't really
just
know.
A regular old American doing regular old American stuff.
I didn't know about it either. But that's the kind of stuff that they whitewash through history. They don't want us to know about this stuff.
No, of course not.
Yeah,
of course not.
Well, because if we do know about it, then we find solidarity in our classes and we revolt against them. And ultimately, that is the only option at this point is class solidarity and standing up against the oligarchs. Because all they're doing is taking our money. That's it. They're taking our money left and right.
And we keep giving it to them.
Yep.
So we got to do a lot less of that.
Yeah.
And, I'll give you guys a good example. So obviously, I don't encourage smoking, but this is not a prepackaged cigarette. This is a cigarette I rolled myself because I refuse to pay the money for a store-bought pack of cigarettes. I don't even know what they are at this point. I have no clue. It's been 10 years. 10 years since the last time I bought something out of a store. I do them myself. And it cost me $20 for 2 cartons.
There you go.
Yeah. I took that back. I put the work in myself and I saved that money. Right. And there are a lot of things we can do that with in our lives. And that's another way to fight back.
There's so many ways. Because we have so many needs and so many comforts and so many desires. You see?
Well, I wouldn't even say that it's wants and desires. I would say it's needs. And I said this during the show last
Thanks for watching. Please do subscribe.
2 days ago that we need big government. You need big government to govern over 330 or 350 fucking million people. You need a massive government to handle everybody's issues. And everybody's issues are not the same. So you got school children going hungry. You got old people going hungry and nothing to live on. Right? So those are two separate issues, but actually the same. Because guess what? If fucking billionaires paid their fucking fair share, then they could give a leg up to the poor kids who can't afford school lunches, and they could give a leg up to the fucking poor older people who can't work anymore and who are suffering in nursing homes.
Here's a prime example. Do you know what the cap to have to pay into Social Security is?
No.
If you earn $176,100 or less, you are required to pay into Social Security. If you earn more than that, you do not have to. If we bump that cap up, Social Security would be solvent. It would be solvent decade after decade after decade.
Yep.
Such an easy adjustment too.
But they don't want it.
Fuck all.
They don't want it because, like, oh, you're gonna tax me and you're gonna take out Social Security out of my $200,000 paycheck a year.
Solvent.
Yeah. Actually, it would. Just that alone would do more. But when you're making $100 billion a year and you get taxed on, and you get Social Security taken out, that's a massive amount of fucking money. Instead of my $400 paycheck that I worked at, slinging guitars and Mars Music, right? I get $400 maybe. And that was for 40 hours of work. So I was there all week. I get $400. Can't pay my fucking rent on that. And not only that, when I sold a goddamn guitar, my manager took my goddamn commission away.
Yeah. But again, it's when people talk about taxing the rich, that's what they're referring to. It's not necessarily about increasing the corporate tax rate or anything like that. It's about adjusting the system for the growth that we have had. Because sure, when that cap was set, someone earning $176,000, that was a big deal. It's not as big of a deal today.
And not only that, if you are a millionaire and you are if you are a millionaire alone, not only a billionaire, but if you are a millionaire just by yourself, you still have enough money to live on for the rest of your life if you did it right. If you invested correctly, if you you're smart about your money and you don't just go and burn it. You light a candle with a goddamn $100 bill. That's not what $1 million. That's the fucking thing about. See, I grew up rich and I live poor, right? Now I'm an adult. I live poor. Grew up rich, live poor. So what I witnessed growing up was so-called millionaires. They are the cheapest motherfuckers. They look for a deal. They want and back then they were dealing in cash. So there was no credit. There was no tracking of any, I'm just going to give you $50,000 for this car because I just don't want it on the books. You know what I mean? They could do that back in the 70s and the 80s. Once the computer shit started happening, crimes became more difficult. But the information of the computer age has become the crime. Stealing your identity, stealing your credit card numbers, stealing your bank account numbers. This is now the new thing. This is the new crime. And they're making billions and billions of dollars off it, and you don't know how to stop it. Best way is to protect everything you got, but that costs you money. But when you're poor, you can't spend $20 a month on Expedia or whatever to fucking, protect you. So it's all a trap. It's been a trap for a long fucking time. We've been calling it out for a long time. And everybody's like, oh my God, you have to calm down. You don't even know what you're talking about. Yeah, I'm not an economic genius. I don't pretend to be. I don't pretend to be a political. I never did. You will go back to our old shows. We'll say, I'm a musician and an artist. You got an ex-cop, and you got a dog trainer on the air right now with you. We are just regular people, and we are calling out the daily bullshit that we see that will hurt all of us. All of us. Not just
every
women.
single one of us.
Not just women, not just, not, you know what I mean? Not just our demographic, if you will. And that's the other thing too, is that Democrats actually give a shit about other people. Like being woke means you give a shit about other people. Like, what's her name said the other day? I love her. I'm blanking. The actress.
It's because it's hot in there, Diane.
Yeah, I'm having a fucking hot flash. And I should take off my sweatshirt, but it's just going to make me freezing in 20 seconds. So
I wish I could send you my wind.
Yeah.
Oh, man, it's getting sweaty over there.
The actress who was at the award show, and she said, just being woke just means you give a shit about other people.
Oh, was that Swinton?
No, it was, no.
Oh man, it's getting sweaty
that was
over there.
That was another speech at another award show.
Fucking dicks. I can't think of her name.
Goddamn hot flashes.
What, Tony? Fonda? Yes, Jane Fonda. Thank you.
There you go.
Yeah, well, that's what happens. You can't think when your whole body temperature goes up to 120 and stays at 98.7. I've been taking my temperature all through my hot flashes, and it still stays at 98. Hey, medical fucking professionals out there, explain that fucking phenomenon to me. I'd really like to fucking know, assholes. Because I could give two shits about anything else.
Oh man, really it's getting sweaty over there.
Yeah, it is getting sweaty. And you know the reason why? I'd really like to fucking know how it is possible that my body temperature is normal when this is going on. I'm fucking melting. Fucking bitch.
What a world.
Fucking assholes.
Oh my God.
And again, I guarantee you, if men had to deal with hot flashes, there would be a pill for it by now.
Yes, of course there was.
No, wait a minute. Even my headphones are sweaty.
Or else it gets the hose again.
My headphones are sweaty. It's so awesome. Oh my God. It's so hot.
Violated!
Oh, Annie.
Call from
Annie.
Hi, Annie. You're our new favorite.
Oh, I wanted to call the other night, and I drank too much wine, and I would have been slurring my words.
That's our favorite time for you to call.
I know. Anyway, I wanted to tell you about the Social Security ceiling. I first learned about that in the late 80s when I was making like $16,000 a year before taxes. And I was working in a law firm, and the attorneys were making, $100,000, $100 whatever. And it came up in a discussion. They're like, oh, no, they don't pay into Social Security, because back then the ceiling was like $95,000 or something like that. So they pay into it up to $95,000, and then they stop paying in. So every so often, and I don't know how often it happens, it is probably a law somewhere, the ceiling has been raised. So it was just recently raised to like what Spiken was talking about, the 176,000 thing. So that would solve it. If they would get rid of the cap, like Spiken was saying, everything would be smelling like roses, So it's just so infuriating. It's like, if we're supposed to be like one for all and all for one, and a Christian nation, so to speak, it's like, okay, how come the rich can't pay their fair share?
It makes perfect sense that, and I wonder what the actual percentage of your paycheck is. Anybody know?
Well, I used to do, when I retired from the feds, when I retired from the feds, I worked for a Christmas tree farmer. And so I did payroll taxes, and I did payroll and I pay payroll taxes. and it's like 6.75% or something like that, and then your employer puts the same, matches that amount.
Matches it. Yeah.
And
it's roughly the same still.
Yeah, it's roughly that amount has stayed the same forever and ever. So yeah, that's Bernie Sanders talks about that, how it would be, there would be no problems with Social Security if the cap was raised. So, and then the other thing I wanted to
it's not just the Social Security cap, it's the tax bracket, the brackets.
Right.
Fucking
right.
lose
If they
the
raise
brackets. And how about a nurse that gets like $50,000 a year should not pay more in taxes than somebody who makes $50 million a year?
Exactly.
You can really fuck off with all that.
Oh, yeah. Right. Well, and the other thing is I'm scrounging up my money trying to save for taxes, and I'm on Social Security, a small federal pension, and my thrift savings. My taxable income is under $5,000, and between the state of North Carolina and the feds last year, I had to pay $735. And the year before was $728 or something like that. So yeah, I'm still paying taxes, and I'll be 70 next week. So it's really annoying. But and as far as the hot flashes, Diane, look into black cohosh and extract of yam. I took both of those off and on, and it really, really helps. You can get them at the health food store, natural, black cohosh extract.
Warning! Danger!
Email that
to
me.
Danger!
What was that?
Email that to me because I don't know how to spell it. So email it to me.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it'll be a couple days because I don't get in my email very often, but I will do that. I've got myself a note here. I will email it to you.
Oh yeah, email it to me. 21st Century Suffragettes at gmail.com. Okay. So Annie, you're our new favorite. Thank you for calling in, sweetie.
Thanks for listening to me. I appreciate it. So I love you. I can't wait till Tuesdays and Thursdays and whatever day on the weekend you play.
Thank you so much, sweetie. Thanks.
You're welcome. Love you all.
Love you too.
Have a great evening. Bye-bye.
Bye. So just want you guys to know I have a party on Saturday, so for sure I'm not going to be playing music on Saturday night. How do you guys feel about doing a show on Sunday? You guys up for it or?
Good.
Benny, are you good for it? Okay. So we'll be on Sunday at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And just so you guys know, if I ever do music, we start at 7. So to avoid all the confusion, all political shows are at 5 p.m.
Violated!
The music show is the only one that starts at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So
that's right.
Yeah. And so
that's
by
exactly
the way,
right.
I haven't heard I dropped off my tailor like 3 weeks ago. And the poor guy went into the hospital, and then I called him, and he's like, oh, I'm back. And I have a feeling he's back in the hospital because I haven't heard hide nor hair. And I just said, give me a call because I didn't want to bombard him with phone calls. And I haven't heard anything.
Give me back my guitar so I can take it somewhere else because I really need it.
It's not about that, honey. I could, as
That's
you said,
what I would do,
no,
though,
as you said
because I
last
would
show,
be
go
too
out and
impatient. I would be too impatient. If it was my guitar, I'd want it. And if I brought it to somebody and they couldn't fix it, I would bring it to somebody else.
But if you saw this guy and if you've known him for as long as I have, he's so awesome. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, yeah,
I get it. Yep.
There's a history.
It's a local business guy too, so it's local business.
Yeah, and there's a lot of history there. I mean, he still has my flyers up on his walls of my old band from 30 years ago. So I can't.
I just can't.
I know. I just can't. So I will call eventually. But, if I do any, I could always go on with this guitar right here. And it's not a problem. It's just been, busy and getting things done with, the passing of my mom and all this other bullshit. So, and all of us have been going through this fucked up state where we're just like, okay, I can't even keep track of all the fuckery that's going on. And I'm actually not even really trying to.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to either because it's not possible.
I'm kind of jotting down things I hear just through here and there and everywhere. And I'm going, oh boy, when you are getting overloaded with a fire hose of shit and you're not even really fully 100% paying attention, I can't imagine people who are totally paying attention. And I understand why the people who disengage, because it's too much.
Yeah.
Problem is, we need people who aren't disengaged to be engaged, because I don't know how we're going to make it without them. It can't just be a third and a third and a third.
Right.
Go ahead, Spy. I'm sure
I was just going to say that's why it's so important to have the conversations like Benny was talking about. I encounter people who voted for Dinky, didn't realize that the chaos he was going to sow, and are shifting away from that, are starting to understand that they voted against their own self-interest. The one thing I hear the most, I think, is that the Republicans are the common sense party. And my instant rebuttal to that is, how is it common sense to give the wealthy more money while taking it from the poor? That's not common sense.
Yeah.
That's what your party is doing.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to find those little cracks, like the gas cap open, where you can, and then provide them with information. You're going to encounter those that are so dumb that no matter what you say, no matter what you do, they're not going to get it until it truly affects them in the harshest way possible. Don't waste your time on that. Don't waste your time there, because that's ultimately what you're doing. You're just wasting your time there. Spend your time talking to the people that are being adversely affected currently, who are seeing it currently, and plant that seed, because that's really all it takes, is plant that seed. How is any of this helping you personally? By the way, I don't remember off the top of my head which state it is, but there is a state that's trying to put forward a bill that would allow parents to sue hairdressers if they provide a child with a hairstyle that affirms their gender. In other words, if a trans child decides that they want a short boy cut and a hairdresser gives it to them, that hairdresser can be sued. And I don't know if any of you guys know any hairdressers.
I can solve this problem in 2 seconds. We go back to the haircut styles of the fucking 80s.
Right. Yeah. The pixie cuts and yeah.
No, the giant hair. Yeah.
But I mean,
if you had giant hair, you had giant hair from the rockers, right? You had mohawks and shaved heads from the skinheads and the punk rockers, right? You had the bob haircuts and the whatevers from the fucking preppies. You know what I mean? Like, and I also remember, the new wave. So it was shaved up the back, super long in front. And I mean, like
the edgy stuff.
Flock of Seagulls haircuts.
Yeah.
Where you don't know what that is.
But again, they're trying to legislate what each person's hairstyle should be.
Hair, your clothes, what you read, what you see on TV, all of it.
Who you love.
Yeah, all of it. Yeah. And as someone who attended a high school that told me I could not have hair shorter than my shoulders or I would be expelled. Yes, there are actually public high schools who do that shit. I find that incredibly detrimental to people in general.
Yeah.
To have your appearance legislated. And not only that, but the people it could potentially hurt, because like my hairstylist, she doesn't earn more than $30,000 a year. she's barely making ends meet and trying to feed her family. If she's going to face the potential for a lawsuit against her because she gave a child a haircut they wanted.
And where's the freedom in that?
Exactly.
Where the right keeps bitching and complaining, oh, freedom, 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 freedom. Now they're going to tell you what fucking haircut you can have. How is that freedom? They're going to tell you who you can love. How is that freedom? They're going to tell you what books you can read. How is that freedom? They're going to tell you where you can go, what you can wear, what you can say, what you cannot say. That is not freedom of speech. That is nothing. This is nothing that they are doing right now is in the Constitution or has anything to do with how we started this goddamn country. Like, seriously, it's a total shakedown. It's a total heist. Dinky and Elon and Putin.
So you get nothing. You lose.
Want to divide the spoils of what they reap and sow. And we're not going to give it to them. We're going to fight tooth and nail, even if it's in this fucking streets. Like, literally, I don't give two shits at this point. You want civil war? You want civil war? Really? You think that you're going to have civil war between all these people? You know, you think you're going to be fighting in the streets in Michigan? It's not the North and the South anymore.
Call from Gin Up the Bass. To accept, press 1.
I don't think they understand. Gin Up the Bass, thanks for calling in.
Hi, Diane. How are you?
Good, good. What's going on?
Hey, Jen.
I know she's not. I feel bad for you, sweetie. Good luck, Diane, to find a fan that can cool you from the inside out.
Yeah.
I don't know if they have those yet. I wanted to talk about the decades-long game that you guys were talking about earlier. And the Republicans, they've been playing it for at least 50 years. And I used to play softball for a guy in the 80s who ran the team, and he had a binder tracking open federal judgeships. And I just thought he was a nut, which as it turns out he is, but it didn't make sense to me until 2016. And then it's just like, holy shit, they've just attacked this from every level because the federal judges are the last line of defense.
Mm-hmm.
And he's managed to screw all of this up, and it's going to take a long time to recover. So anyway, thanks, guys. Take care. Love the show. Keep it up.
Thank you, Jen.
Thanks, Jen. Thanks.
All right.
No, I agree.
Bye.
It's going to take a lot of time and a lot of money to fix what they have fucked up.
It always takes a lot of money to fix what they have fucked up.
Yeah.
Well, and unfortunately, I think that's a little bit a part of the plan because, I mean, let's be honest. If Dinky survives his 4 years, we're not going to have to worry about getting him out of the White House because he's going to take the fuck off to Russia with all his money. And so will Elon Musk, and so will Thiel, and so will, you know, all of the oligarchs. They're just going to cut and run and leave the rest of us to pick up the pieces, which means there will be no money to fix it.
Right. Unless there's, you know, the good people who stay and the good people who are like, who give two shits. I'm looking at these memes. I used to feel lucky that I didn't live in a country like this, right?
Yeah.
It always cracks me up when the left is referred to as radical, like the left is running around carrying assault rifles, denying science, and discussing not accepting the results of an election. And there's a lot more that I would add to that list, but I get your point, right? You know, we're not.
Yeah.
And you're gonna. Again, with the propaganda, the hypocrisy, the gaslighting, and the projection, these are their favorite. This is what they use as ammunition against us. Like Spykin and I were talking earlier, and I go, you know, they use the fact that they use health as a cudgel. Oh, we don't want to give health to gay and trans people. We don't want to give it to women. But if a white man walks in with a broken leg, oh boy, he's going to get the best service you can ever think of. So, but let's not give everybody health care, because, you know, if we do that, then we'll never, ever be able to overturn Roe, which was my thought in the beginning, because after World War II, all the other countries started a universal health care thing. We did not. They started a lot of other programs, but Roe was overturned in 50 something. So 5 years after the war. 50 what? So they started, they started to overturn it. No, it was still criminal. You know, you guys know what I'm talking about. I'm getting at something and lost my train of thought now because he fucking said something. I don't even know. So anyway, it was, like in the 70s, it was legal. Before that, it was not. Right?
Right.
So they've been in all the civil rights movement through the 60s and all of this. They kept trying to take away the fact that white men are losing their power. And now they're really fucking scared. I think they're really fucking scared this time because they see the numbers. There's more women than men. There's more people of minority and people of color and blah, blah, blah. And they are going, now white men, white Christian nationalists, white supremacists are going to be the minority.
They already are the minority.
Well, I know they are. I know they are. But that's why the push. That's why the push for this now. Because they keep going, why is this now? You know, because we've already moved way past all of this decades and decades ago. It's just being funded now by religious, Christo-fascist oligarchs like Putin, and I can't even begin in all the fucking names, right? Heritage Foundation in the 50 years, in the decades they've been doing this. This isn't a long game. Putin plays a long game. It's psychological warfare. And now with the internet, they got even better at the psychological warfare and tricked more fucking people into believing this bullshit. So I just feel like by us talking about this stuff, it exposes it, and maybe you guys can take, even though I'm not saying it really a great way, you can take it out and try to explain it to somebody else, because I know it's wrong. We all know it's wrong. I don't know how to stop it from other people being brainwashed for voting for it. Quit voting for it. Allie Osher, thank you, honey, for calling in. Go ahead.
Hey, Allie.
Hello, everybody. How you doing? Can you guys hear me at all?
Yeah, you're a little muffled, but go ahead.
Okay, so I just can't find the right Bluetooth to work with your system. I wish I had recorded it. I hope that Hal Sparks and somebody else got it. The interview with Hannity that Elon had, fell on Elon had, and he's like, "Oh, I thought the liberals were the hugging type." It's like, are you confusing the hippies again? He's always confused. He's like Trump. He's always confusing things. It's like, you do understand, if you get rid of people's jobs, they're not going to be happy to see you. You do understand that, right? Did he never work a job in his life for anybody else? He doesn't.
Of course not, Allie. Of course not. He's a rich kid from apartheid, and that is what he is trying to create here in the States. He wants to have an apartheid state in the United States, okay, because that's what he grew up with in South Africa, where all the white people had the power and all the money. All right? He knows. What he said on Sean Hannity was so strategic. I'm the victim. You have to care about my cars and my Tesla and my company, even though I'm taking away your jobs and your Social Security and your Medicare, and you'll be broke forever. And I think $1,100 for grandma who worked her whole life a month is too much. When he's making $8 million a day off the federal government, he can really fuck off and shut the fuck up.
Yep.
Well, you know the other thing that got me mad. You guys remember NASA, right? The original. You know, the one that the good Kennedy did, or the presidential one at least. Then he keeps talking about, you know, the heat panels and all that, and I'm shouting at the screen. You mean the space shuttles that blew up? You mean the Challenger and all the other ones? It's like this guy's a typical white rich person, completely out of touch. But have you never met anybody who makes $20,000 a year? Have you ever met somebody? You know what I mean? It's like,
I've met real billionaires, and I'll tell you what, they are actually normal, decent fucking people. They may be a little loopy because they're like, oh yeah, let's go to New York City for lunch and hop on my plane. Yeah, that might be weird, but they're still down to earth. You know what I mean? And and they invited me.
Like I said in the chat, being rich isn't a crime. Forgetting about everybody else in society is a crime.
Yes.
You know what I mean? When you forget about that, not everybody's rich. Not everybody can do everything that you do, and like you just said.
I know. Yeah.
How many of us can go to another country and
how many of us can afford a Tesla? None of us. I could not afford a fucking Tesla. No fucking way. They're $100,000. All right.
It's a waste of money anyway.
Yeah.
It's a waste of money anyway.
When the quarter panels are falling off, of course.
Yeah.
And they're all being recalled. Who the fucking wants? That's the other thing. He thinks everybody's going after Tesla. Guess what? Your cars are a piece of shit. They fall. Hold on. The quarter panels are falling off as you're transporting them in the wind. So you tell me, because they're using the wrong glue. Because they're cheap.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. I was like, are you telling on yourself, Elon? Are you saying that you don't know quality? Because that's the other problem, too. If you work hard for your money, you want quality.
Hold on. Yeah. Allie Osher, I got to hang up on you because I can barely hear a word you're saying. And Guess what? You're using glue to put two pieces of metal together? I may not be a fucking genius and I don't know how to fucking build cars, but I know that to put two fucking pieces of metal together, you need to solder them together. I don't know jack fucking all about any of this shit, but to put two pieces of metal together, you need to solder it. You don't use glue that melts in the heat.
Yeah, JB Weld does not accomplish that. It will not work.
And this is a guy you want Starlink and everything to oversee the FAA? No.
I honestly don't know how any astronauts get into his rockets and think they're actually going to make it.
Yeah.
He keeps, the last one was successful, but I don't know how they do it. That's like, it's like standing in an intersection and praying that nobody's going to hit you.
Right.
Tony just picked up the tissue I threw and missed the garbage can with, and he picked it up and he goes, Elon's penis. It's severely broken.
Severely
deformed penis.
I can't make the garbage can from here.
Jedi.
Too bad we can't get a picture of it and expose it in Congress.
Yeah, they made Michael Jackson take a picture of it. I think we should make him take a picture of it. And so it proves to us that he's a fucking impotent little man who just wants to rule the world because his dick doesn't work.
Yep.
And he wants to put his spawn out there. Ugh.
I don't even know what to say about that one.
And guess what? Any chick that has any of his spawn, I have no respect for you either. Just saying.
I do have to say though, that's a very nice little bit of karma for those apartheid minds.
Yeah. You asked for this shit. You're gonna get it. And you think that, you thought that you were going to hook up with Elon and have a kid with him and he was going to take care of you. You were going to live rich and fancy your whole life. And now you're struggling to pay medical bills for your kid. Good luck.
Yeah.
I voted for you to have health care and for your kid to have health care. And you shit on us. And now you're shit on yourself and your fucking kid.
Yep.
I got zero fucking sympathy. I think my empathy and my sympathy is wearing out for these people. For people who are struggling, of course, I have a shit ton of empathy. But for maggots who voted for this and they're up and coming, I got no sympathy. We got Super Saint.
Super Saint.
Super Saint, thanks for calling in.
Hey, super.
Hello, my lovelies. I think that they had to say MAGA sadism.
That's great. I love it. MAGA sadism.
Yeah, I think that's what it should say. I was calling in also to let people know that if you go to indivisible.org, you can find your town halls that are happening, and also people from Indivisible are actually holding their own gatherings of town halls everywhere, all over the place in their states and in every state. And you can also find people that are doing protests and doing fundraisers and other things that are promoting the all these special elections that are going on as well on Indivisible.
Okay.
So if you go there, and I did put it in the chat, but it doesn't show up as blue. But indivisible.org, you can get involved locally, and you can. So I'm going this Saturday to my local place to do our own town hall, and we're bringing protest signs and all that stuff. And there's going to be speakers. You can come up and speak, and so get active locally. And so if there's not going to be a town hall because you've got a pussy ass bitch representative like we do, then you know they're having them all over fascist Tejas. So
yeah, it's good to know. Indivisible.org. .org. Okay, so Moms is putting it up there. And
thank you. I wanted it to show up in blue, but it wasn't showing up for me. So get involved, people.
Thank you, Super Saint.
Thank you, Super Saint. Get loud and proud.
Love you.
I love you guys.
Love you
See ya,
too.
Benny.
Love you too, honey.
Love y'all. Okay, bye-bye.
I thought that maybe this next thing that I just sent to Tony in his 5 eggs would cheer everybody up, because before it was a lone dinky in this picture, but now they've added Fancy Pants, Micro Johnson, and Sissy SpaceX, and I just thought everybody could use a good giggle right now. So I just hope that, and this is seen in Denmark. This is a famous place in Denmark.
Make sure and miss, fellas.
Actually, I love the push. You push the button and it's all on their foreheads. Okay, so, and this is actually a famous place. And before it was just Dinky's face there, but now they've added everybody else. And look at how much orange he is to everybody else on top of it, which I love. And I think they actually added the lips. No, they didn't add the lips. The lips were always there. Yeah. Okay,
it's a form of urinal. It's a It's a design of urinal.
And I gotta tell you, I just love the trolling. I'm all for it. Troll. Whenever you can troll these people, keep trolling them, because they are trolling you. So you better troll right the fuck back. There's no reason not to. There's no reason to hold anything back. Like Elon Musk said, believe what you see, not what you're told. And somebody tweeted back, oh, I've been told you're a genius, but I've only ever seen you behave like a fucking moron. So again, troll the way you can, my friends. Troll whenever, if you can. Even Elon Musk the other day was tweeting out civil war is inevitable and we're going to have a civil war and civil war. How about you guys are going to be fighting yourselves because we're going to stand back and be like,
have at it, y'all.
Yeah, you guys fight each other, and we'll just be over here to pick up the pieces when you're done.
Yeah,
they're out there saying, "Look what I can do."
Oh, Harriet Hagman got booed to oblivion last night in her own town hall for pumping up Doge so hard that even her loyal suckers woke up and smelled the bullshit about 5 minutes too late. Oh my God, have you guys seen this video?
No.
Oh.
Let's show that beautiful boo footage.
Show that beautiful boo footage.
This is Harriet Hagman from Wyoming, as Hell Sparks would say. I forgot to do it. And tell you what, just come on, keep stepping in it. Keep stepping on those rakes, Republicans. You have really fucked yourself, and these are your own constituents. Tell me how many Democrats there are in fucking Wyoming. Not a lot. Not a fucking lot. These are her own constituents. It's loud. Turn down your... Yeah, if you have them right in your ear, turn it down. Oh, Jesus, it's loud. Oh, it's so good. This is music.
DOGE is not dismantling Social Security. And even with reconciliation, we are not allowed to touch Social Security. The work that I have specifically been doing, I am on the Judiciary Committee and the Natural Resources Committee.
I worked for the U.S. Department of Agriculture, helping Wyoming family farmers deal with drought until I was fired a month ago in the mass firings, and despite only having the highest marks in my performance review. In a state where so many farmers rely on government programs for drought and disaster relief, Trump's plans to cut these programs and the people who administer them, coupled with the tariffs, will decimate Wyoming farms and rural communities. What are you doing about that?
I disagree. I disagree. I come from the ag community. I'm well aware of what kind of programs are out there. It's so bizarre to me how obsessed you are with federal government. But here's the thing.
What the fuck?
You guys are going to have a heart attack if you don't calm down. I'm sorry. Your hysteria is just really over the top.
Wow, she actually went to the hysteria.
You voted for her. She's telling you to calm
down. Way to go, Wyoming.
She's telling you to calm
down, Wyoming.
You're too hysterical, Wyoming.
Calm down while you take it, Wyoming.
While you take it in the ass with no lube, Wyoming. Don't say we didn't fucking warn ya. Nebraska, same thing. Oh boy. Are you Spykin and I were talking earlier, and I go, thing is, we've already been outraged for the last decade.
Yep.
We are already angry about this. They are newly angry because they see anger. This is fresh, new anger from their own constituents. We've been screaming at the top of our lungs trying to warn them of this. Now, they're all fucking pissed.
there's something they can do. They can rectify their situation and fucking clean out the people who are fucking them over and put people into office who will actually work for them.
That's right.
They could do that.
That's right.
But they didn't.
How about Republican constituent people of Wyoming who voted for Harriet Hagman from Wyoming can just be like, we want a petition, and we want to have her removed, and if you won't remove her, we're going to remove you too. We're going to take all your jobs away. Your jobs, because you're supposed to work for us. Remember that.
Just like that there.
Yep. It was her job to stand up there and explain what they are doing. And instead she said, shut the fuck up and sit the fuck down. You're being hysterical.
You're going to give yourself a heart attack. How many times, ladies, have we heard that when it was 2014, 2015? How many times have we heard that personally before we fucking knew each other?
Yeah.
Plenty.
Calm down. You're being hysterical. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't have any proof.
I'd much rather be hysterical than hysterical.
Yes, me too.
Okay, not sure who's called in. Who's calling, please?
Crystal CNY.
Oh, it's Crystal CNY. Crystal CNY. All right, what's going on, honey? What's up? All right, the game's over. What's up?
That was all I wanted to do, actually.
Oh, really?
Because I need to laugh, and I love when you do it, and, I just architect you. So that's it. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. It's Crystal CNY. Just calling in to say hi.
Well, that was fun.
Kathy's in, just called too at the same time. So, how much time we got? Oh, we got about 20 minutes left. Yeah, I love her getting reamed out. We've got what am I looking at right now? America First, Ku Klux Klan, preserve racial purity coin. This is why I despise the slogan America First. Its roots are in 1920s KKK, and every time Donald Trump says it,
call from Kathy Zinn.
He endorses white nationalism, racism, and hatred. America is a diverse nation of immigrants and every color and creed. I wouldn't put it out there that way, but okay. Kathy's in. Thank you for calling in. Honey, go ahead.
Yes. Apparently she and I had the same idea at the same time. I did the same thing, Diane. When I saw that video and I saw it was Harriet Hagman, I just heard it. Why?
There's a lot of Hal Sparks fans here, and
oh my God. And nothing calms people down more than someone standing up there saying, now you're being hysterical, just calm it down. You're going to have a heart attack. It's like, oh my God, lady, really?
It's so condescending, and maybe even men in the audience will see how condescending that was to her fucking constituents in Wyoming. Imagine how it sounds when you're saying that to us when we're going, the house is on fire, and you won't believe us.
Right. Right.
Exactly.
So what up? What else is going on? Thank you for all all that you do, sweetie. You're awesome.
Oh, you're welcome. It's like when I just saw that one this morning, I'm like, I haven't heard anybody talk about this one yet, But the one thing I did want to bring up, and I don't know if everybody heard it this morning, but there was a caller on Stephanie Miller this morning, and she said that she didn't know what else to do, but she's a knitter. So she decided she was going to get a bunch of her knitting friends together, and they knitted blankets for people in Ukraine. And she said it was such a popular idea that other people called her and said, look, I don't knit, but how can I help? And she said, well, you can donate a blanket. Just make sure, don't, recycle it. Just make sure you give us a new blanket. And she said, I know it's not much. It's just 30 of us, that did this. And Stephanie said, this is a win-win. You did something for yourself. You feel good about doing it. And someone else is benefiting. And guess what? One of the recipients of your blankets is going to sit there and say, God, they only sent 30 blankets. And they're going to be, happy that they got a blanket.
Right. Yeah. By the way, Kath, the reason, was there technical difficulties? Because when I went in to go to listen to Stephanie Miller, it was a repeat from yesterday.
Yes, you could only get it on Free Speech TV or on Progressive Voices, I think, had a way you could get it. Okay. But yeah, they were having difficulties, and Chris said that their Tony, who fixes their stuff, is supposed to come in this afternoon, and they were supposed to figure it out. But there's some kind of glitch that it was not connecting to send it to WCPT or to Sirius XM or their other audio outlets. So
yeah, that's why they need a 5 eggs around there.
They absolutely do. But the point I wanted to make is that it doesn't, she thought that what she was doing was so small. But the thing is that, okay, maybe you're not the kind of person that wants to go to a protest, or maybe, maybe you don't want to be politically active, but there's so many other things you can do to help other people, and with the aid being cut to the food kitchens, don't get me started. The home, they're cutting back food. And the thing is, this is going to screw the farmers, because this is how the farmers got their surplus, is that their food was being given to homeless shelters and schools and all this kind of stuff, and they're wiping it all out. It just, oh God, it makes me so mad.
I know.
But there's so many other, there's so many things we can do to help people.
Well, even our little contribution here at 21st Century Suffragettes, because I'll tell you what, it's not easy to do the show. It's kind of draining.
No.
And
oh my God, yes.
And it takes a lot. It takes all of us to put it together. And so,
right.
And it's also gives us an outlet to vent about all this shit, right? So
yes.
And that's mainly while we're here, and while we're trying to correct a few things out there.
We're venting.
We're venting, and we're trying to put the truth instead of the fucking bullshit and the lies. And also, coming from regular people, we're not billionaires. And oh, by the way, we have 973 subscribers, you guys.
Oh my God.
73.
27.
Oh my God. 7 more. 7 more. We hit 1,000. That is fantastic.
So, Kathy, thank you so much for calling in, sweetie. We love you.
I just wanted one more little thing I wanted to say. Did you hear about the guy that he's from France? He's an author, I think, and he's got a green card or something. He was trying to get back into the country, and they went through his phone, and they found his anti-Trump messages that he sent, so they wouldn't let him back in the country. They said his visa or his whatever was no good. So, and I'm sitting there going, if they're going to check my phone, or if they're going to listen to me calling into this show, I'm in trouble.
We're all in deep shit. All of us are in deep shit. All right. Love you. God. I hope we can room together.
Love
That's
you
all
too.
I can say. Okay. So
yes, we'll room together. I hope we room together in the concentration camp. It'll be our little the suffragette and suffragette section.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right, you guys, take care.
Love you.
Love you, Kat.
Love you. Bye.
Bye, Kat.
Oh God.
978.
We're at what?
978.
We're at 978 now?
Shut up.
Just by me saying that. Bing, bing, bing.
Thank you, all you newcomers.
Thank you,
to
guys.
the
Thank
channel.
you for subscribing.
Appreciate
Putting
you.
the band back together.
Don't forget to
We're
hit
on
the
a mission
thumbs up
from
and
God.
share with your friends.
Yep. We're putting the band back together.
Yeah, we are. The band never really broke up. We've just been playing really loud and nobody's been listening.
Even though we feel, Benny, like I know we feel like we're at the bottom of YouTube and we've been struggling so hard to get to 1,000 subscribers, I still feel like what we're doing is good. Even though it's maybe not for 10,000, 50,000, 500,000 people. We don't have those, it doesn't matter. You know what I mean? Like, it's still, first of all, it makes me feel good. I can get
it gets very lethargic.
Yes, it's so lethargic. just to get and bitch about it and even have
cathartic. It's cathartic, not lethargic.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Lethargic would be
sleep.
Oh, that's what I want to feel lethargic.
Yeah.
I want to get this tension off of my shoulders. I want to feel lethargic.
Yeah, I'd like to be able to relax. Do. I don't know, Spy. What are you thinking?
Hold on, the wind.
Oh, it's not that bad.
Right as you asked me a question. I just wanted to say yes. I have to take time to prepare myself to be on this show and chat and talk and interact. I'm very introverted. I am very much an introverted person. I had to tell Cletus to stop talking to me before the show because I'm like, I have to prepare. And if you keep talking to me, I'm going to be so worn out.
It's not going to happen.
I'm just going to sit there and say nothing. So can you give me an hour? But it also is very cathartic to get out there and talk about some of this stuff. One of the things I just wanted to go back to what we were talking about before with the common sense thing, with them thinking they're the common sense party. There are enough houses in the United States for everyone to have 3. And the reason we don't is because corporations own them. There's enough food produced that we throw away 9 times what we consume. Right? It is possible for us to make cuts and make changes that improve everyday lives. But the billionaires and the millionaires are not going to make that happen.
They're not interested.
They're the ones who profit.
Yep.
They're the ones who own all those houses under a corporate name. They're, So again, I appreciate the opportunity, even though it does kind of stress me out before we go on. By the time I'm done, I'm tired and I'm ready to go to bed. So thank you.
You get stage fright a little bit. It's all right, Spiking.
It's not even stage fright. It's more that
Clementine is not afraid of anything. Clementine, look at Clementine's fierce.
Yeah, no.
Now I mentioned her. She wants to run.
Hi, Clementine.
Yeah,
my blood pressure medication right there. My blood pressure medication.
Kitty Central over here.
Yeah, I got one curled up on my lap at the moment, but it's not even really stage fright because I'll speak my mind and I'll tell my truth wherever I go. It's the fact that it's exhausting.
Yeah,
it's exhausting, and trying to keep up with all the shit that's going on top of that, so that. I'm providing, information, legitimate information to people. It's exhausting. And when I'm, before the show, I'm thinking about the things I want to potentially cover. So to have someone in my ear talking about completely nothing, because that's most of the time, that's what it is. It's something he said 5, 6, 7 times over and over again. It's nothing. I'm like, I need to think. I need time to think and prepare.
Yeah. No, but we love Cletus around these parts. I'm smart.
I'm smart.
I'm sorry, I cannot stop thinking now about my nightmare I had last night.
Oh,
I
no.
had this fucked up nightmare where I was trying to leave a place and I kept getting caught. and I kept changing my tactics to leave. Instead of running, I'd walk, slowly, and I had blonde hair, and then I had a wig, and then, and so I kept, and it was like a MAGA call, and I couldn't get out, and I woke up, and I was just like, oh fuck, on top of. Then after that, I was thinking about, all right, how do we get Dinky out of fucking office? You know what I mean? And I'm like, why am I thinking about this? Why am I being chased out of in this weirdo fucking dream, and I'm stuck there, and they keep catching me, and I'm like, I'm literally crawling up on the chandeliers trying to get out like a secret hole that's in the ceiling, and I'm like, what the fuck?
I feel like I'm taking crazy pills.
And physically, I could never do any of that anyway. Like seriously, no way. I'm running faster than I possibly could with no leg cramp. Are you really? And no knee pain. Oh, sure, yeah. So I'm just going in my dream. I'm like, and then I wake up and I go, wow. I feel trapped. I think we all feel trapped in this vicious circle of shitholes of fucking news, shitholes of fucking, I don't know. There's like kind of pushback from the judges and stuff, but again,
Good evening, Clarice.
I don't trust the courts that much. There is pushback for now, but when it goes to the Supreme Court, I don't know. But I just kept going in this weird cycle and it would just freak me out really bad, like waking up fucking cold sweat as usual. And it was just so weird. So trapped.
So much.
And I just go, well, how do I break out of that? Keep changing
Thank
your
you all
tactics.
very much. I love Tesla.
Keep changing your tactics. Every time I change my tactics, I got a little further. It's just like a video game. You know what I mean? You do something different this time when you got to that point when you failed. So I kept changing my tactics and got a little further and get further and further and further.
Diane, I am your protector.
That's why I think, being the nice guy, when they go low, we go high, blah, blah, blah. Those days are over. I never took that tactic. I thought it was wrong to begin with. You can't do that when you're dealing with bullies. You got to punch them in the nose. And that's what we're going to do here at 21st Century Suffragettes. Every time we can. Anybody else want to have a little closing? Benny, go ahead if you want.
Well, I wanted to thank everybody for being here. And thank you to the new subscribers, because we're going to hit 1,000 probably by next week. And I'm really excited about that. And see, I like being in the Boyd. We discussed the Boyd a bit. And because I like being in the Boyd, this is kind of bittersweet for me to reach 1,000, because I know where channels go. And there's a lot of us out here doing what we need to do to get stuff done. And I wanted to let everybody know that I'm flying my flag
upside down
for all the world to see, everybody that passes by. Because I'm not going to be quiet even when it's silent.
Right. There you go, Benny.
So everybody who's subscribed, thank you. Everybody who continues to show up, thank you. This is a lot. We got a lot to do. And all we can do is do it. So I love you guys. And let's just do that. Let's just do it.
Yeah.
Let's just do it.
Pull all the punches we can, right, Spy?
That's right. Yeah, don't hold back, because, even the tolerant left doesn't tolerate hate. So, and find those ways you can help. I'm reminded, because I have a gum stuck in hair situation that I have to go deal with.
Oh.
There's always a solution. You just need to know the solution. So I get to go to.
You freeze it.
No. Yeah, I would have to cut her hair off to do that. But peanut butter. Peanut butter.
Peanut butter works.
Peanut butter, especially natural peanut butter that has extra oil in it. So I get to go show my husband how that beautiful, wonderful trick works. But in doing so, it reminds me that there are solutions. There are solutions to every problem we encounter. And if we give up, we don't find those solutions.
Yeah,
so
that's right.
find a way to move forward, be helpful, and be a part of the solution, because that's all we can be.
Right.
At this point, and help those that you encounter that need a little extra boost from time to time.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what I like about my dream, what I learned about it. If it doesn't work, change your strategy, change it up, do something a little bit different, get a little bit meaner. We've been too goddamn nice.
A little bit more forward, as it were.
Yep.
We've been too freaking nice. Oh, we can't. No. This guy's a criminal. This guy's a pedophile. What you did with the veteran, Benny, is epic. Those kind of things is that's, even if it's one by one by one by one by one for the next fucking 4 years.
So can I answer one quick question for the chat, specifically Petrazi? She put the gum in her own hair.
Oh shit.
So
it happens.
Yeah. She gets to learn this lesson.
Okay, back in the day we would freeze it with ice cubes. So I didn't know if it's in the end or if it's up here or where it is.
It's like up here close. Yeah. And I Daddy said, well, I guess we got to shave your head. And she went, no. Because I just dyed it pink. She doesn't want to get rid of her pink hair.
Right. Yeah.
But yes, everybody in the chat said peanut butter works. I'm like, yes, I know. I remember peanut butter works.
Okay.
Ice if I have to, peanut butter, but I'll use the two.
Okay. She's like, don't cut my hair. She's Sam Kinison screaming, no! Because you just dyed the back of her hair underneath pink. Yeah,
right before she goes back to school after spring break, right? So
no. Okay.
I find the whole thing hilarious because I know how to fix it, right? So
all right,
that's what we got to focus on.
Get out of here so it doesn't get worse. Okay.
Yeah.
I love you guys. I love everybody.
Love you,
see you guys Sunday.
Care, baby.
We'll see you Sunday.
Happy peanut butter.
Danger.
It's gonna be all over these hands. Just
yes, it will.
All in there.
Yep.
Been there, done that.
Oh my God, that's epic.
Violated.
Love you guys.
Baby. Yummy. You smell just like peanut butter.
No!
Because that's what you do at a fucking party. You get too high. You get too drunk. You stay too fucking long. That's why they call it a party.
You just don't put gum in your
when
hair.
was the last
That's
time you had
always a
that
bad
kind of
idea. No gum in there. That is so cute. That is such a little kid thing problem to have to go run off to do right now. It makes me it makes the whole rest of the show very lighthearted. You know what I mean? Like we're ending at my kid got gum stuck in her hair and gotta go. Break out the peanut butter.
It could be. Oh my God. So everybody, Diane, I love you. Tony,
love you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Man behind the scenes.
Yep.
5 eggs.
Everybody, thank you for being here. Diane.
Love you, sweetie.
Whatever we do together.
I'll say goodbye in the chat by myself if you want. I'll say goodbye.
I gotta shoot out of here too, honey.
All right, I'm gonna give a couple shout outs to the crowd. All right, honey, you get out of here.
Shout outs to everybody. Shish boom ba. Everybody. Rah, rah, rah. Let's fucking go.
All right. See ya. Well, that's why we love our little crew here. How much fun is that? My kid got gum stuck in her hair. Anyway, thank you guys so much for being here. We love all our moderators, of course. You guys are awesome. Oh, yeah. weirdo split screen. And Big Steph fan and Moms Russo and Alyosher. And, we don't really have a big Twitter. Kathy Zinn's
Hi,
over
Moms.
there.
How are you?
We don't have a really big Twitter crowd.
Hi, Moms. How are you?
It's always kind of been that way, though. So, anyway, over here, minus Lisa and Trish and Super Saint. Thanks for calling in. Moms again. Jeff Curry and Petrazi and Robert Carr, Janelle, Vicky, John from Vegas, Jackie, Coralie, Big Dog, Roxanne, Armfeld. We got a couple of Roxannes. Ida, oh my God. Dinky at the Kennedy Center pretending
the
to
dude
be...
minds. This will not stand, This aggression will not stand, man.
Pretending to be Evita. Did you see that, Tony? Tony almost spit beer all over his fucking computer. Dinky, look up Dinky at the Kennedy Center pretending to be Evita, taking questions. Yes, he did. Francie, yes, he did. J-Fo. Just saying. Carol DeBeer. Cajun Fish Hound. Blue Tomato. Susie Jones. Go with the Flow Farm. Evita is E-V-I-T-A. John Dav Sage. Steve from Scotland. Love you. Nordes Rodriguez. Jen up the bass. Francie. Love you guys. Midas Kevin Anderson. My bodyguard, Christina.
So it's just a video?
He was taking questions. He's standing up. Yeah, that's what it is. Look at that. Look at how ridiculous that looks. Avita. Apparently, it's his favorite movie, the one with Madonna in it. He loves. Who was the chick? She was from Argentina. Don't cry for me, Argentina. The SFL.
Yeah, well.
Michael Blaney. Annette. I see some new names in here, you guys. Natalie Wood. Natalie Wood. Another great actress. I hope that's your real name. Roxanne Epstein. So, you guys, thank you guys so much for being here. Look at all you guys. Blowing up. Ava Perone, thank you. Blowing up the chat. Having so much fun. That's the ding, ding, ding. That's for you, John from Las Vegas. Ava Perone. You are right. You are correct, sir. You get the trophy. Nina 333, the Soulcraft. You guys, again, thank you so much for being here. And we'll be here on Sunday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then every Tuesday and Thursday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll try to get in a music thing somewhere in between here and there. I don't know. We'll see. I have a party on Saturday. I can't do it on Saturday, so that's out. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks for being here. We'll see you on Sunday. Peace out. I just broke my chair. Scotty B! MK! Hosanna!
Stepping out of bitchin' cars, couldn't reach the other way to first, so yeah. Stepping out of bitchin' cars, have a motor with a dual quad. toughest spot, oh no. Oh no. I don't care what she's always in my head. Don't ask me why. She probably start to cry. Oh yeah.
You. What?
Yes, we do drive Chryslers.
Chryslers.
Kitchen cars. Race the other way to Mars. Oh no, no.
Now. 56 next year.
Straight out of kitchen cars. They're gonna put me behind the bars. Oh no. Stepping out of bitchin' cars, have a motor with a dual quad.
Fuck you, trolls.
I don't care what she's always in my hair. Don't ask me why, she probably start to cry.
We are trailing a long-haired Caucasian in a 1970 Dodge Super Bee. We are in pursuit right now. He's getting away from us. We lost him.
We lost him.
Hey, isn't that guitar guy?
Yeah, that's the guitar guy.
One time I heard him play Believer by Ozzy. It was sweet.
Stepping out of bitchin' cars, racing to the top of spots, oh no. Stepping out of the jet cars, gonna race you on the way to miles, oh no, no. Got everyone to do. Stepping out of the jet cars, and motor into a quad. I don't care, cause she's so
Ozzy Rip is the best.
Don't ask me why, she will start to cry. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Seriously, one of my all-time favorite Billy Gaffney songs. All time. Hands down.
I get drunk. I play funk.
Next to this one.
Until night. I get high. I never try. I let loose. Wild goose. I take a ride. I nearly die. Give up. Shut up. I call in sick. Suck my dick. I kick your ass. Smoke your fucking grass. Stay up late. I masturbate. I look great. Straight hate. Get laid. Get paid. Taco loco. Johnny Yoko. Nice dinner. What are you up to, dinner? Tuesday. Ejaculate every Tuesday.